Practicing gratitude. 'Tis the season. It can boost our happiness and be a lift to those around us. That research is clear, but gratitude can sometimes feel like a floating concept, right? One that's hard to pin down and actually practice. My first guest wants you to lock in on your intention. Katie Hughes has created a sweet list of 5 concrete and creative ways to express and feel gratitude. I said this topic is just Katie embodied. You are just so naturally gifted and good at this, so thank you for taking time to help us kind of hone in and identify. And it does take some intentionality, doesn't it?
That's right. And that's why I think we came up with just 5 ideas that could be how to connect with those that we love and even ourselves with gratitude for the things that we have and have been given. And so I love what we've done today. Should we move into?
Let's jump into it. You've broken it down into 5 categories.
That's
and
right.
The first is gratitude for self.
Yeah, I think this is one of those things that it's easy to say that we're gratitude for self. We may exercise or we may do some of these things, but you know, I feel like being intentional with how we feel about ourselves is really important, especially as there's so many things that we are feeling, often negative feelings about ourselves. And I think looking in the mirror is one of those things. It can either be positive or negative, depending how we're feeling each day.
Depending on the day, depending on the hour.
That's right. And this is just something simple, just to be done with a dry erase marker. And what I love about this is just reminding yourself of who you are. And sometimes taking the intention of saying, you know, for this I wrote down, you are a light bringer. And not that you're cute or you're smart, but maybe more some of those other things that you really, truly are. I think a practice of doing this, or even writing a little Post-it note on your mirror to remind you who you really are, is something so special as we have gratitude for ourselves.
This is a great example too. It's who you are at your core, at your spirit, at your divine, level, if you believe it, to be to that core place. But I love kind of digging deeper for the affirmation.
That's right.
Sweet. Okay, symbol, do it for yourself too.
That's right.
We do it for our daughters.
Yeah.
Why not do it for ourselves? I like that. How might we show more gratitude this time of year for our spouse?
This is one of my favorite things to do with my husband, especially during the busy season. And I've done it for years. I love to do it. And instead of having a date night out, I love doing a date night in. And by doing so, I'll have to find, when my kids were younger, a place for my kids to go. But to be able to have within our home, the home that we've created together, time just spent visiting, and maybe it's dinner I brought in, but also just a candlelight dinner with my loved one.
This is curious to me, Katie. Elaborate a little bit more. If you're going to the work of getting childcare, a babysitter, or occupying the kids otherwise, why would you choose to stay in as opposed to go out?
I just think there's something about home, something about being together, and there's not the distractions I think you might find at a restaurant. I feel like it's so much easier to put our phones down in the home when we're right there across our own table. And I just feel like that, sitting by the fire, talking about your life, your love, I think it's super special.
It's really lovely. I mean, I'm putting myself in the place of a restaurant where you are surrounded by 100 other people. There's distractions left, right, up, and down.
That's right.
But you're right, there is something about the simplicity and the focus that comes with a familiar space like home.
That's right.
I love that.
So
I love
fun.
that.
It's my
okay.
favorite.
Our next category is family. You say there are some creative and fun ways we can express our thanks and gratitude to those we love most.
There's so many things we can do, but I love just taking like butcher paper at your regular family dinner, and maybe this is, or maybe treat night. We did pie night before. And writing down the names of each of your kids or everyone in your family, and then having everyone go around and actually write down a virtue or something special that they are, and just reminding them, like, I'm grateful that you are selfless. I'm grateful that you're hardworking, or that you're strong, or those type of things. I think it's so special, and especially helps with family identity and culture, which is what we're always working to do and feel. And I feel like having gratitude for each other is deeply critical.
I love this. What about even leaving it out? You know, sometimes I do the let's go around the table, or at birthdays, right? We call out a certain person. There's something a little more, I don't want to say sincere, but when it's not as forced or contrived, if it's just sitting there and you can,
I love it.
If you want to, that kind of hits deeper in a more personal place.
That's right. And I do think you are practicing maybe what you might later show in like a family group text or something, like your group chat. These type of things are practiced and then later lived in your family.
Well said. And what type of change or shift do you see in your family culture when siblings are reading kind words, virtues from other siblings?
I mean, they're willing to give it to each other. That's the thing. When they receive it, they're willing to give it, and it really does help our family dynamic.
I'm going to do this. I love this. Okay, gratitude for others. How might we step up and serve?
I think it's so easy to think about ways, we can love others. A simple one, and to me, always reaches the heart, is food.
Always.
Always food. And just thinking, okay, you know what? I'm going to make some extra soup. I'm going to double it. I'm going to triple it. And I'm going to just take some jars and some loaves of bread over to people I love. It's a simple gesture. You can even buy a store-bought soup. It's easy, something you can do, and take over to them, just saying, hey, thinking of you, maybe you can use this somewhere. And as moms, we could use this, if not for family dinner, we could use it for like lunchtime.
Yes.
Or like those meals that we can't. How grateful are we? Is anyone ever sad if they are bought a soup and a loaf of bread? I just think there's such power in it.
Multiple times I have stood in defense of the casserole, the humble casserole, because food is so much more, right? It's sustenance physically, but it's comfort, it's time, it's a daily need that often women in particular are meeting for other people, but no one is necessarily meeting them there with that basic, everyday sort of a need. Food goes far, it really does.
That's right, and then just with the tag that says, we're grateful for you. There's something powerful about that.
Lastly, and so importantly, I know to you, is showing gratitude to God. How might we do that better, deeper, more sincerely this month?
My favorite way is actually in conversations, personal conversations with people. But I also think we can't be scared about sharing our faith online. I really believe there's such power in it. And so this is just an example. Don't be afraid to share goodness out there. Don't be afraid to share how God is moving in your life. I think there's such power in it. And as we witness, I feel like God gives us all these things and such power when we testify of his love and of the way he blesses us.
Well, gratitude is thankfulness in action,
That's
right? And so to be able to say it and not just feel it, I think that's the next step that you've demonstrated with each of these categories, including showing gratitude for deity, however you might worship. Katie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
These are just a few ideas. I know you're compiling many, many more in your monthly newsletter.
Yeah.
Tell us more about this.
Yeah, I just send out a monthly newsletter. In this month's newsletter, it's the November newsletter. You can find it in my Instagram profile. Just what is it? The link for it. Yes. So there's just some other ideas under each category that may be helpful as you are considering how to show gratitude.
I love to get that newsletter every month. It's a little bit of Katie's sparkle on paper, in print, on your screen, and it's beautifully done and meaningful at the same time. You go deep on these themes that I know are so important to you. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
We'll link you over to Katie's Instagram so you can sign up, get the November newsletter, and feel and internalize more ideas, more ways to show gratitude this month. We love you, Katie. Great job.